Yeah, welcome everybody to today's Collaboard webinar. The topic of the webinar is the new release that has a lot of new features, and these new features also provides new possibilities. So we're very happy about this March release we did, as we implemented a lot of things people have requested for some time, a lot of inputs from the community, which came now into our product. And the agenda for today is like that. So first of all, we will have a look at the new show and hide content feature. This allows you basically to hide things from other users and then reveal it. That's very useful when you do a workshop and you want to reveal one exercise after another, for example. So that's something, it's probably my favorite new feature. Then we look at the detailed text formatting, what you can do with that. And I also brought some examples on how this can be used. We look at the new keyboard shortcut, which allows you to create notes at light speed by just hitting the tab key on your keyboard. Also something very cool. And I will show you a little bit why this is useful and when you can use that. A small thing is that you can now change the title directly in the board. But it's super useful if you have created a lot of copies of the board, then this will speed up now the way you work and do that. We also revamped the view of the quick links. So this looks now a little bit different. And I think it's a big productivity booster, how we design it now. So I'm looking forward to showcase to you. And at the end of the webinar, we will look at the improvements in the voting feature. And I also brought some ideas from our roadmap. So you see, besides the new feature we present today, what's also planned for the near future. Yeah, let's start with the hide and reveal content feature. So how do you do that and how does it work? In the end, it's very simple, but it's super powerful. And to showcase you this in a good way, we will do the following thing. I'm just inviting another user. So I'm just creating here an access link, copying that, and I will open a second browser on my laptop so I can show you this in a good way. And it's super easy to hide and reveal content, as you have now here the option just to click on an element, and in this three-dot extra menu, you have now the option to hide something. And when you hide something, you see it looks like that. So for you, as the person who hid it, you see now the elements semi-transparent, and for the other users, they don't see anything. So if we give me 1 second. So now I'm here with another user. And in this case, he doesn't see the content. So for him, most of the board here is pretty empty. And what I'm doing now, I'm starting to reveal some content. And you see, it starts immediately to appear, like here, this frame. Or now we also show the picture that is in this frame. So this is very cool because you as a facilitator, you can hide content and then you can make it visible as soon as it is necessary for the users. Or here we have like a mind map, and now we can start hiding elements in that mind map and make them magically appear. So a little bit dependent on your preferences. Now, how does it work? I'm here now with Albert as a standard user. So this user doesn't have facilitator permissions. Now, when you hide content, it means it's hidden for all the participants on the board. So I'm hiding it now. And you see now, I don't see it anymore as Albert. If I provide now Albert the facilitator permissions in Collaboard, now you see he has also the option to visit the content. And let's imagine you're planning a workshop, you already created the content, you have hidden it, and now you see, oh, there is something misspelled or whatever. So you as a facilitator, you have always the option to move and edit the hidden content while the other people don't see that. And you have like with that all the flexibility to work on. So in this case, if I want to reveal now all these other elements in the mind map, I'm just selecting that and make it visible. Yeah, that's basically everything you can do with this feature. So you can hide and reveal the content, and I brought to you now some more examples. So let's say here we have some onboarding exercises, let's say like a digital friendship book. And here I have just a group which I can reveal, I can make it visible. And to give you the effect once more, I'm removing now the facilitator permissions from Albert, so he doesn't see that the content anymore. And from my other user, I'm just making it visible, and you see it's magically appearing. Yeah, this is the hide and reveal content feature we added in Collaboard. You see it's super easy. It's very useful when you also have multiple facilitators. As you see, the content that has been hidden by other users. And this allows you to create new workshop experiences in Collaboard, as it provides you much more flexibility than just hiding content by putting another object over it. It also has an impact on the performance. So let's say you, as a facilitator, you have like a very powerful PC and you have thousands of objects on your device and on your Collaboard project. And you know that the participants, let's say students, for example, have a little bit slower or older hardware. In this case, you can also hide content that has been looked at, that is not relevant anymore. And this means Collaboard needs to render less content in this case, and this can have also a significant impact on the performance itself. Now, the next feature which we implemented is the detailed text formatting. So how does it work and what does it do? So you can apply this now to notes, to shapes, and to text elements on the board. And you see, I already created here a note with some text. Let's add something more. And now I can do several things. So first of all, I have here this standard text formatting settings, like making something bold, italic, underline, or whatever. And that can apply that to every letter or word in a sticky note. And we thought, okay, that's already cool. But we wanted to make something more, also something more than the other whiteboard have. So we allow you now to use different colors in the sticky note for the text. And you can also use different fonts. So you have like all the flexibility that is needed to design things here on the board. And to get a little bit less abstract, I brought a few examples with me. So I would like to show you today and some ideas how you can use this different text formatting. And let's have a look at this first idea, which is, let's say, the menu for the meeting. So something similar when you go to a restaurant and you want to order food. We thought about the cool menu for our meeting, where we start with some icebreaker games. Then we might have like an introduction round. We do a brainstorming session and a SWOT analysis. And here you see, I use the shape. So this different text formatting can also be used in shapes. And in this case, I also used some bullet points. Now, when we introduced the new text formatting, we didn't include the bullet points, as there are already very nice ways to use the bullet points. And I want to show you today how I'm using that, because maybe after the SWOT analysis, we do a voting, and then after that, we're doing something different. And now we would like to get another bullet point. There is a very cool trick, and if you're using a Windows PC, the trick is done by pressing the Windows key and the dot. And in this case, you see a pop-up that allows you to use emojis or something like that. And in my case, for the bullet points, I went to the special characters, going a little bit down because somewhere here is a nice bullet point or a star. And in this case, we can add here a bullet point. And the cool thing now about these different characters is that can also style them. So let's say we would like to increase a little bit the font size. So I can do that. And we see now that we can't not only just use different font styles, different colors, different font configurations. We can also use different font sizes in the same box. So you have more or less all the flexibility you need to work with this feature here in Collaboard. Now, let me give you some other examples. And we have done a very nice Instagram challenge with a lot of students in the German-speaking area in Europe. And there I have seen a lot of exercises where the teacher have written some sentences and the student needs to fill out the missing word. And I thought, okay, that's somehow nice at school, but if you ask me to do that in a business perspective, you need to provide me, let's say, a good sentence. And as you know, the slogan of Collaboard is great minds think together. And I thought, let's work on some statements from Albert Einstein. So here one task could be, and that could be a very nice onboarding exercise in an online whiteboard, where we need to fulfill now this sentence. So the sentence is, look deep into something and you will understand everything better. Now, from a user perspective, they will just click in here and then they will replace basically this placeholder with a nice word. So we could say, look deep into yourself, maybe, and then you will understand everything better. Now, if you do an exercise like that, and you as a facilitator, you can already have the solution here. So in our case, it's the famous quote from Albert Einstein is, look deep into nature. And in this case, I could have hidden it. And as soon as everybody filled it out, I am revealing the solution. So everybody sees what's the idea. Now, besides this quote, let's look at another example where we say something is way more important than knowledge because knowledge is limited. So what could it be? I don't write now something here. Let's have a look at the solution right away. And the solution in this case is fantasy is way more important than knowledge because knowledge is limited. And I really like that quote because in the end, in Collaboard, you can be so creative. You can really bring in all the fantasy you have, the creative ideas. And this is why I thought it's a very nice quote to do here. And this just as a small example how you can use that. Now, when we talk about text formatting in an online whiteboard, we don't just need to do it on the sticky notes or in the shapes. Also, if we copy in some text from somewhere else, there is another exercise I don't want to, let's say, I also want to show you. And here the game could be mark the word with the correct spelling. So here we see some famous Italian food, so which I think is called correctly gnocchi. So it could be gnocchi, gnocchi, or something like that. And now with the full text formatting, people can say, okay, this is the right one. A little bit more difficult one is this one here, where I will not pronounce it now, but you see it could be very tricky and something also funny to do in a meeting with the online whiteboard, where you need to ask people either to spell it or to say which one is the correct writing. And in our case, let's just reveal the solution, which is the one that is spelled correctly. So you see just some examples how you could use that. And now let's talk a little bit about longer texts, not just the sticky notes. So I have here two examples. So this is one example of a text I copied to Collaboard. And you have now the option also in longer text to mark important words, to make them bold, to use different colors, to highlight that. And now I want to tell you something important about how it works with text in Collaboard. So you see here, this is a standard text box. Now, if you resize this text box, the text will just get smaller and bigger. And for several cases, that's super useful. And this is exactly what you need. But for some cases, you are missing one important thing. So you're missing that if you make the text smaller, that it also breaks the sentences. And you can do this in Collaboard by using a shape. So the same text I have here, which is in a text box, I added here into a shape. And in this case now, if we make the shape smaller and bigger, you see the text is automatically breaking. So that's something also very useful. A lot of people don't know that. So I thought it's important to add this here to this webinar as well, because in the end, formatting the text is one thing, but this could be also super useful when you start designing your next boards, when you know that with the shape, basically, you can make the text break automatically. Yeah, and with all these features, I think we have one of the most powerful solutions regarding text formatting on shapes, sticky notes, and in the text itself, in all the online whiteboards presents on the market. And we're looking now forward to the feedback of our customers and users. Maybe there is also some more things to improve. So, of course, we can discuss your questions afterwards in the Q&A session. Now, before we jump to the Q&A session, let's have a look at the next feature. And this is the feature that allows you to create sticky notes via tab. So there are a few scenarios when this is very useful. So how does it work? Let's say I'm adding here a new sticky note. You see the sticky note already has like a special formatting, a special color. This is because I used here a default color, and now I can just hit tab and it creates a copy. And if I hit tab again, you will see the next copy is below the other one. Now I'm hitting tab again, and then you see it's on the other side as well. So when we implemented this feature, we also included an algorithm, some sort of intelligence that makes sure that if you create a new sticky note with a tab, it doesn't cover an image, for example. So if we take this image now here, and if we click now tab again, you see now it's going below again. Now it's also below again because it doesn't really want to go over the image. Now the feature is useful when you need to create a lot of sticky notes while brainstorming. Let's say I have idea 1, now idea 2, idea 3. So you see, you become super fast. You don't need to go to the menu. You don't even need to copy the sticky notes. So you, at light speed, you can bring your ideas to life on the online whiteboard. Yeah, what can you do with that? I thought I brought you a short video how I was using this feature in the past recently. And as I already said, our motto is great minds think together. And one of the greatest Italian inventors, philosophers, natural scientists is Leonardo da Vinci. And one of his most famous paintings is the Mona Lisa. So we thought, let's try to rebuild it in Collaboard with sticky notes. And I made a short video for you how this is done. So you see now we are using this tab feature to make sure that all the sticky notes we create have exactly the same space next to the other one. And this allows us now to create something like that. Of course, that's maybe not super useful, but I thought it's a very nice example of how to use this new feature. And just to let you know, this is the result. So this is how it looked like in the end. So it was some work doing that, but it's astonishing that most of the people will recognize this now easily as the Mona Lisa. Yeah, so top feature, something super simple, but I think very effective. and it will help a lot to bring more speed when working with Collaboard. Now, the next thing, what we did is we revamped the quick link view. So for all the people who have worked with the quick links, you know that at the beginning, there was always a pop-up here in the middle. Now, if I click on the quick links now, they're opened here on the right side of the canvas. So here this is wrong. So let's adjust that. It's the right side. Now, why is this useful, or why have we done that? So when you had this initial pop-up, you couldn't really interact with the board anymore. So this was a little bit hindering the productivity, because now you see I can leave the quick links open. I can jump back to the agenda, and I can immediately change something if this would be needed, for example. If you look closely, you also see that the agenda we see here and the preview picture we have in the quick link, they doesn't match. And now we implemented the feature. This is these two arrows here arranged in a circle that allows you to update this preview. And that's also something super useful, because in the end, you can also create an export of all the quick links. So let's maybe jump to the next one. Let's also refresh that. And let's jump to the third one, and let's refresh this view as well. And now what you can do is you can say you want to export these 3 quick links to a PDF. Usually when we work now with the quick links, we also look at them somehow a little bit as a concept like the slides of PowerPoint, but of course without the limitations, because a quick link can be like here, just these 6 sticky notes, but it can also be more or less a huge amount of the board of content. So basically creating a quick, a quick link is very easy. In this case, we can just select all the content here. Say we would like to create a new quick link. This is, for example, our mind map. Et voila, we have then here a 4th quick link. So if we open it again, we see now here the 4th quick link that is a mind map. If you want now to create an export, we just select the ones of the quick links you would like to export. Now we click here on export selected quick links, and now we can create a PDF out of that. And in our case here, it makes more sense to use it landscape. And you see now you can look at the different pages. You can even increase the quality of the export. And then if I click here now on export, I'm creating a PDF out of all these quick links. And that's super useful, because after a lot of sessions with an online whiteboard, with Collaboard, for example, with your clients, they might not have always access to the board. Or let's say you're using Collaboard in an on-prem environment, then in this case, it might be difficult to share something useful with your clients who can't access the board. And in this case, you have now a new way to create an export out of Collaboard. Of course, you can also create an export for the whole board as an image or PDF, but this is something more sophisticated, as it allows you to create something page by page that's more structured and follows more maybe the sequence of your workshop. Yeah, that's this view of the quick link we have revamped, and I think it's super useful, because here now, by leaving it open and working in the canvas, that's a productivity booster. A small improvement we implemented is also the option that you change the title of the board directly in here. So in this case, I can just click on that. So let's say new possibilities, April 2023. We hit enter, and it's already done. Something very simple, but for all the people who are working with a lot of boards, I'm sure you will be very happy about that new implementation. Now, the last feature in our March release was an optimization of the voting feature. So far, after you have done a voting session in Collaboard, you were always able to share the top result with other people. And we improved that you can now select which results you would like to share, or you can also select all the results to share with the people. To show you this in a good way, we are going to do now short voting. And I'm doing this with myself and with Albert. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm bringing Albert to the same location where I am. So in Collaboard, there is this get attention feature that allows you to drive people to the same place where you are. Now we're starting a voting session. So I'm just clicking here. Let's say here what I expect from the future. We do a classical voting. Every one of us has 3 votes. We start it, and now we say, okay, I'm a big fan of the flying car, and I also like the hoverboard. Well, Albert, as a theoretical physicist, he's maybe more into the time machine or also holograms, but I'm 100% sure he also would like the flying cars. So he's also now give a vote here. Come on. Oh, he already spent all the votes. So in this case, he now says that I'm finished, and I'm stopping the voting here as well. In the past, we could now look at the voting results, and we see, okay, the time machine is next to the flying car, one of the top votes. And in our case now, we can now select which votes to share or which results to share, or we can just select here all. And with one click, we have all the voting results directly here on the canvas as individual objects. So this means I can move them around afterwards. I could do a re-voting on them if I like to do that, and so on. So before, we usually took screenshots and put them to the board, and now it's super simple. Just with one button, you can push all the results and share it with the other participants. Yeah, these are all the features we implemented in the March release, and I'm very happy, and we also already got a lot of good feedback. But of course, that's not the end. So we are still continue pushing hard on creating a very cool and innovative and intuitive online whiteboard experience for you.